Hello, everyone.
Ah,
We are a bit later than usual. Normally we will start about an hour earlier, but we had some technical difficulties. But we are live and we are happy to be here. Together with me, working on it, uh, Cloud and Benjamin. And Cloud, you have a very lovely theme for today.
Today's theme is past jobs or anything like related to that.
Yeah.
ooh, if it's anything related to jobs, I have actually some jobs that my brother had. One actually, yeah, I actually have a story from about this, even though I have never worked a single hour in my life. Officially, that is.
You. So be different this time and have first because you never go first. Usually you're last.
Me, you mean?
Uh, so if you go first this time.
If I go first. Well, I would gladly go first.
Yay!
I usually have short stories, or I like to keep them short. Well, since I'm in my 30s, I have worked for quite a while. And one of the things that I started out with was babysitting. One of the things that the girls usually do is babysitting. But I wasn't like a normal
When
babysitter.
how old were you when you started babysitting?
14.
Ah, so it was just like any other kid who babysits, just an odd job
Yes.
to
But
get some
when I,
extra cash over the
yes.
weekly wages your mom and dad gives you.
But there was something special about it because when I was 15, uh, I went to this summer camp not as someone who goes there for fun, but as a leader. So, with my
Ooh.
15 years of age, I had to
So
take.
you went at so you went at 15 to a
Yes,
summer camp for work.
yes. It was just a volunteering job, even though you got paid for it. But the thing is, it was a summer camp for children from the ages of 5 to 12. But, parents
Ooh.
were like, yeah, this 4-year-old can go along for 5. And children who really love the camp who are 13 were like, yeah, you can come in as well. So, and these groups, like every age had its own group. So at 15 years old, I had to take care daily for a group of 35-year-olds with one or two other camp leaders, which is
35-year-olds?
yeah. So 35-year-olds.
Ah, 30 or 13?
No, the big 30. So like a lot of kids for people.
So, so a large school class of 5-year-olds. Oh,
Yes, in a summer camp. So that means
Hey,
yeah.
yay!
That means you are outside on like a camping ground. You have like a couple of tents set up because when it rains, and in the Netherlands it rains like every other day, you have to get in the tent with all the kids. We had septic
Mhm.
tank bathrooms, so not no real bathrooms, just septic bathrooms, and we had to get all these kids. So all these groups, I think the total number of children would be like 1,200. You had to entertain them.
Whoa!
Yeah.
How many volunteers were they?
Every group had about two or three.
So they were around maybe one. Oh, so that's around. I
Enough.
don't.
Let's say there were
Over
about,
100 at least.
well, from 5 to 12 is 7 years. So 7 times 2 is 14. Let's say that we had
So
a max of 20 volunteers.
75.
So we had a big amount of children with a small amount of leaders, and we had to entertain them. And I never had a clue what we were going to do, but what I invented, I don't know if I actually invented, was a game for these 5-year-olds. Because, 5-year-olds are rowdy. 5-year-olds do not want to sit still. So what I discovered is if you make a game out of it, whoever sits still the longest, you actually have a very nice group of children who are just laying down in the grass, trying to sit or lie down as still as possible, and you have like an hour of less work. So
That really worked.
that really worked. And
That does work, especially if you have any incentive behind it. My cousins and stuff like that before.
yeah.
Was there any type of character? Or was it just honor that was the prize?
It was just honor, like the children just really wanted to win.
Really? Oh my!
Yeah.
How did that work?
Well,
When I was in kindergarten, I remember one popular game we kids played was the silence game. It's more or less
the same thing.
the silence game, and
game, yeah.
it was more or less the smallest sound would get you eliminated. But like the thing was that normally lasted like 2 minutes at max.
Yeah.
You got them to stay still for hours.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Well, the thing was that I invented also another thing. When you lost, you were actually the one picking out children who were moving. So if you lost the game, you weren't just like sitting on the other side and making a noise. You were actually participating as well as catching people who were actually moving. And the other leaders of the other groups were like, what the fuck is going on? Why are those children lying like dead in the grass? And I'm like, yeah, we're playing a game. So within 2 days, this whole field, this whole camping ground was full of children lying in the grass, doing nothing, and only a couple
That's pretty good.
I'm sorry, I know I'm not supposed to be loud, but that's amazing.
Yeah, so that was one of my first like real job related things that I'm like, well, actually I'm proud of that thing. Later on it was banned because
That's really good.
some of the children who lost became a bit, arrogant, and they were poking other children to see if they would react. So yeah, the game was banned, but for 2 days it was really quiet on that playing ground.
Like with kids especially, like eventually it turns, like eventually it would go south. It's just a matter of time.
Yes.
2 days, that's actually pretty impressive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that was a long time ago.
In Cloud, you say that was pretty impressive, but who really who really are you praising when you say it's more or less you're praising the kids for playing along for so long?
Yeah, it actually is
That's
impressive.
really good.
Yeah. Oh, that was some amazing story, Barbs.
Thank you. And I have my other job that I had before I went to like in serious jobs was at a bookstore where we also had to take care of postal packages.
Ooh.
But maybe, if we have some time left, I can tell about something about that. Because I'm actually kind of curious about Cloud and his old jobs.
And
And I actually have a story too, but yeah.
I'll go. So I've worked like both volunteering and like normal jobs. I've worked security at a convention before.
Okay.
That was fun.
Oh yeah. You are not the smallest guy, so yeah, I think you could classify for that.
Friends who are taller than me, but like
No. I didn't mean in length. I mean in width.
No, Benjamin. Let's Cloud talk first.
Yeah.
I did that, and that was kind of fun. There's nothing like pretty much like I was with my friends too, So like when I got off, I was able to like the lines for getting into the vendor hall,
Okay.
and I could like take one friend with me into the vendor hall area.
Nice.
So that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I worked for school. You have to do volunteer hours,
Mm-hmm.
like 10:45, I think it was. You remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I have my friend Jack is next to me
Okay.
right now, but blinded. Uh, so like, but my mom opened it runs a dog rescue, so I volunteered there.
Okay.
Ah!
I should have when mom would stay, she'd pay me, but you know,
Wait,
a
so you
lot
could
of
have been
dogs.
paid.
My mom never did, so.
Mm-hmm.
No.
But like, I did a lot of dog stuff. I know a lot about dogs because of it.
Mm-hmm.
I fun dogs. I have been attacked by only one dog,
Oh dear.
Mm-hmm.
and it was a big dog. I don't know, the breed was a Dogo Argentina.
Okay.
Huge, man,
Mm-hmm.
they're huge. Uh, I'll tell that story sometime because that's an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, uh, and then I worked like seriously. I worked at a camp, uh, but like I was a dishwasher.
Okay.
Being kind of like before the kids got there because of work differences. It wasn't a bad camp. Like my tent had electricity in it and stuff.
Oh, nice.
It's just like they kept making me do things that like I wasn't supposed to be doing, and like other stuff that like managers like personal bathroom and stuff like that. Like
Ah.
that's not something I'm supposed to be doing.
No.
I ended up having to leave because of that. And then last actual job, I worked at a Safeway. Have Safeway where you guys are, but it's like
Oh.
just like a
Sorry.
general store.
Yeah.
It's like a what?
Store like
Mm-hmm.
you just groceries and like nothing else. They had like a meat department and seafood department. I started in the meat department,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
which was crazy to work in.
Why was it
It's
crazy?
hectic over there
Oh, really hectic.
Is it?
because like you would get rushes,
Mm-hmm.
like getting food, and at the same time we also had to prep other food as we're going, so there wasn't a lot going on, and we had to like handle customers that like would order something and then like just leave it there.
Yes.
Uh, the hardest part, honestly, about working in meat department was the fact that every night, throw away all the leftover food.
Yes.
Throw away.
It's still a thing,
So I
throwing
think
away all this food.
I think we could easily like put it in a thing for like a homeless shelter and send it over.
Yes.
Like, it wouldn't be hard at all. Like and like the food wouldn't be going to waste. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Always sucked. I would work from 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and what I
Oh.
would do was I would clean every night.
Okay, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Empty. Let me tell you, cleaning out like fryers and the grease pans and stuff is just not a good time.
No.
Not a good time at all.
I
There'd
also
be stuff like
I want to interfere. Like when we are getting hosted both by Tanked Ages and by Magic. Thank you both for the host. Thank you so much. We are talking about.
Thank you so much. That's awesome.
Yeah, we are
Wait, are we? Wait. We are being. What does that mean?
being hosted. That means they are.
So that they are more or less showing our stream
Yes.
on their own,
On their
kind of.
on their channel.
So more or less, it's
Yeah.
free promotion.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not watching the stream right now, so I don't know. But yeah, thank you very much.
It's like repost.
Very much
indeed.
appreciated.
But Cloud, go on about your old job, washing out the greasy pants.
Like, so they were like, it was like this container on wheels, and you'd wheel it over to dishwasher, and then you had to break it down,
Yeah.
and then you had to like pick up the grease pan that would by this point is just congealed like
Bits.
the closest thing I could kind of like Jello,
Yeah.
see through and like scraping all that out, which was fun.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's yeah. Like when fatty foods and like fatty sauce and just grease and stuff that falls off food. When that gets cold, it can go from sludge to literal jelly. Yeah,
Yes.
I know that.
It's a bad time.
Yeah.
The first day I worked there, it was the day they decided where we kept all the frozen food, like moving the shelves back, which they do every like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mhm.
oh man, that took my whole shift,
Okay.
Oh.
whole thing. And like the person actually was just like, let me go home because it was just like, it's your first day, you can just go home. And I was like, okay. And it's actually the Safeway was actually a town away from me.
Okay.
Like, I had the bus. And then after I worked at the meat department for like a couple of weeks, helping customers and stuff sometimes. And so like they moved me to courtesy clerk.
Okay.
Clerk does everything everyone else doesn't do. I bag groceries, I clean, mop floors, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Swept the whole place. First thing about is doing the bottles and cans. Machines that would always lock up or someone needed help with,
Mm-hmm.
it would freeze or something. So I'd always go out there every like 10 to 15 times a shift. Hours. And people, let me tell you, people do not know how to work these machines.
No.
They're like, why aren't they working? How come it's not taking that bottle? And then I'd come in and I'd do it, and then they'd like magic or assume like I was trying to rip them off somehow
Yeah.
because it worked for me but not them.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, let me help you, and because they asked me to help, and I was helping them, and then one guy tried to put it in a bottle. Was it going to work? I was like, sir, I wouldn't even try that bottle, honestly. It's not going to go through.
Mm-hmm.
The label wasn't on it, that means it's not going to take it. Just looks at me with fire in his eyes and goes, "You're being an asshole. I'm going to go tell your manager." And he's like, "Where's your manager?" And I pointed directly at my manager. Go talk to him. I'll go up and talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
Never talk to me about it. He just disregarded it.
Yeah. So more or less, how was your manager? Was he nice?
I had two managers. I had the big boss manager, and then the like
How were
general.
they as people? Were they sensible?
Like, my Safeway was really bad to the point like their store opened up, we'd be screwed because of how bad that Safeway was being run and how managers treated everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I like my manager's name though. His name was Quincy.
Okay. Oh, okay. So
Wayne.
So he wasn't really a good guy.
Like when we were in the break room or something, he'd be really nice to me. But like,
Okay, so he probably just sensed that you weren't the asshole. The guy who blew up at you was the ass. So
like
that's why he never talked to
I
you
ended up,
about it.
I worked at Safeway for about a year.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I got sick. I get sick like quite often
Mhm.
because of like no idea. And like I worked at Safeway, I'd get even more sick because friends
Yeah, new
like
people
I'm
come
around
in.
sick people.
Yeah.
One time, the last time I called in sick, I got written up for it, and I was talking to the main manager,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and I was talking to her. Hey, so what happened? Why were you sick? I explained to her what was happening and how I got sick. At the time in United States, there's a big like my best friend's dad actually passed away from it.
Mm.
Uh, and like
Oh.
I caught it. I caught that sickness,
Oh
and
dear.
Oh.
a week. Like there'd be days where I tried to go into work because they get pissed if you don't go into work,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would just get sent home anyway.
Mhm.
So I was talking to the manager. I told her what happened, and she looks at me dead in the eyes and says, all the time.
What
Like,
did you?
excuse
What
me?
did? What did she say? Your mic blurred it out.
She said, it must suck to lie all the time.
Oh dear.
Bitch, please.
I was like, excuse me? I'm not lying to you. She's like, whatever. Here, I have to cut your shift short. I like literally just got there.
Mm-hmm.
And later that week, I quit.
Yeah.
But I'm
And
done.
and that was your last job. You were because you were unemployed. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my last job. I've done like things like curve painting before and other stuff like that. But um, I don't have a job. I mean, I help with my mom still from time to time,
Yeah.
uh,
Mhm.
or hang
I
out with
guess.
them in the back.
But that's nice.
Anyways, some really cute doggos that I cool
Mm-hmm.
hang out with.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, that's yeah. I know. American people are assholes.
Not all. Let's
And
just get that right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not an asshole.
No, you are not an asshole. It's the general public. No, I'm just not being. I'm not
There
really
was
being. I'm being pseudo serious here. Okay.
there was one time I was hanging out with a friend of mine. He was talking about a friend he had in Britain. The only uh, Americans came from Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and I was like, please no, and us. Please no.
Please don't.
Like, okay, I have two laughs. That's one of my laughs. The other one is a giggle. And that's not the giggle.
Good one.
I have a giggle, but it's very only really comes out when it's not laugh out loud funny, but just
A little bit
really
funny.
funny though. No, not a
Yeah,
little
they-
bit funny. Just really funny, but just not the one that will make you laugh out loud and roll on the floor. Just the one that will have you laughing in your chair. And just
Yes.
Real quick,
Yes.
the only good things about my, I could cash my checks at the Safeway.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I got my check, I would just cash it like right the same day, the same time, the same.
so you more or less got your salary in cash.
Yeah. Because
Nice.
at the time, and then like it had a Starbucks in it,
Okay.
and like and they also sold Chinese food that were served at the meeting.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
So some chow mein.
I don't know what that is.
That's Chinese food.
It's Chinese.
Yeah, like for some reason I don't like Chinese or really Eastern food. I'm not even that into sushi. For me, it tastes kind of sweet, but it mainly just doesn't taste much at all.
I think that's
Sushi.
I think that's because your Asian cuisine is not like the real Asian cuisine. Like Asian.
I don't like Thai food. I don't like Japanese food. I don't like Chinese food. The only really thing I get at Chinese restaurant is the crab soup.
Yeah. But what talking about work and jobs, when you work in an Asian restaurant, the owners usually adjust the taste of their dishes to the country they live in. This is especially the case for example, in the Netherlands, because Dutch people cannot handle spicy food that often. So they really have to adjust the food and the tastes to the people they are serving. So like Dutch Asian food is not the same as Swedish Asian food or American Asian food or Asian food at large. Let's say that. So it might mean that like if you are on holiday in China, you suddenly like Asian food. It can be happening like that, but maybe the Swedish kind is just not your type.
Yeah, maybe that, or I'm not really sure because again, let's see. Yeah, I can get that sushi can be. I can get that. I can get the Chinese food, but some Thai. I okay. I've gone from legitimate restaurants to fast food to food trucks.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to more or less, does every one of those adjust?
I think so.
Everyone.
Awesome. Safeway recently, like my family was driving through it.
Mm-hmm.
Why? There's a rumor when I was working there that a general store was opening up
Mm-hmm.
in the same town, and I was just like, "We're done." Like everybody was talking about that. Bye, and it's open now, and it's right next to the Safeway. And there's a big help wanted sign on the Safeway. So
Nice.
it's gone. It's done. That Safeway is done. Oh, the one time I wasn't there, a car drove through our Safeway.
Oh wow.
What? Wait, so they
Is
just
there anything?
launched the car into the storefront?
What happened was some old man right in front of the store, and then when he got in it, when he went to back up, he wasn't in reverse.
Yes.
Went straight through.
Oh, okay, but yeah, so it wasn't like a car that crashed into the store. It was just a car that did it break the windows? The store
Went through the
windows?
store. Like it went through the windows and landed in the floor department.
Wow. How can a car? It isn't that fast when it goes in reverse.
Well, if you let go of or you're pressing the gas and you don't know, then you can go quite fast in quite a fast time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's that safe run is it's about to go into the business, and yeah, it's like
Or
pick and choose safe run or this other business.
it did spark a conversation in the workplace about like how old is too old to drive
Yeah,
in the workplace. I
Oh,
think certain point you should get retested your license anyway.
indeed.
So
yeah,
say
it's I would say it's really more about the individual. It's more like individual. It's less about just the regular mind as it degrades when you become old, and more about if there's one guy who's half blind at 65, he shouldn't be able to drive. But if there's one guy that can really clearly see at 89 and has a very clear head, he clearly should be allowed to drive. It's individual.
it's like gotten hurt, you know what I mean? And like cars are dangerous.
Yes.
Yes.
And so I don't want someone to get hurt just because somebody to like is too stubborn and go. I can still drive.
Mm-hmm.
They can't even read.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah. But again, as long as they can see clearly, I should.
It's
think
not only
fine.
sight. Let's be clear. You need some reaction time as well. If you need to stop within 13 seconds, you need to be able to get your foot on the braking pedal before those 13 seconds are up. If you are old, you cannot handle that.
I'm not saying I'm not saying all old people can't drive.
True.
I'm saying like
Mm-hmm.
when they reach a certain
It needs to be
Yeah.
retested again.
Yeah, like I probably should know more about this because my dad works as a driving instructor.
You should know more about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, and like when me and him talk about cars, yeah, I get that he really knows the danger of cars, but yeah, more or less. And having a dad that is a working driving instructor, it's an amazing, like more or less every now and again, I will like on the workplace, on my school, or just even just going through a store with my mom, or even just my dad. Like every one 150th person was like, oh, I took my driver's license I took my driver's license with your dad.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, it will be like that. It will be like every now and again, one person will go that. Oh yeah, say hi to your dad from me. Yeah, it's like every goddamn time.
What is the legal age of driving?
I cannot hear you.
Alex, dear, you sound like you are put your microphone into a plastic can.
So what's the legal age of driving in your guys' countries?
I didn't get. What did you ask?
It was what the laws of driving in our countries.
In the Netherlands?
Yeah, like what age can you guys start driving?
for me, when it comes to underpowered cars, at 16.
In the Netherlands, you can only start your getting your driver's license when you're 18. You can start driving lessons when you're 17 with parental permission, but you cannot drive until you're 18.
Yeah, like underpowered cars and mopeds. Then you can get a license at 16, and you can start driving lessons at 16
Mm-hmm.
in Sweden.
Yeah. And for us, it's like really, if you want to drive a car, you have to be at least 18 years old. They wanted to change that, but as far as I know, that hasn't been changed. And
Mm-hmm.
but what you can do if you're a very rich kid, you can apparently drive on your own driveway. So if you have like a castle or I don't know, camping ground to your own, you can drive there in your mom's car or something. That's allowed.
The casual car.
I'm driving, mommy.
Yeah, driving 5 miles
But
a second.
in the states, it's actually a state by state basis. So like each state is
Yeah,
different.
that's a lot
Uh,
with a lot of states in America. I know it's confusing.
No, it's not.
It's more like okay, so you're American. Yes, I am. So what can you do? It depends on the state.
Yeah.
Tell me more. It's more or less like yeah. It's just like it's kind of frustrating. Yeah, but we are getting real off track.
No, I just want to say, Benjamin, the European Union is just the same. You're European, but you live in the state of Sweden, which is almost.
I live in the state of Sweden.
Yeah. So,
Yes. No.
as a
I don't live in
comparison.
the state of Sweden. I live in the Sweden.
I know, but as a comparison.
Yes. But again, okay. So working stories. Again, I have one really big one. Okay, not really big one, but one that I will say, as it turns out, a lot in, and it's actually quite a doozy.
Okay.
okay.
Okay, so yeah, this is a big story. It's actually it actually is involves a Swedish. You will not know who it is though, because it's okay. So more or less, I live in Norrtälje,
Mm-hmm.
which is a town east of Stockholm, and Stockholm is quite east in Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, more or less, we are not that close. We're less than a few. We're quite close to the Baltic Ocean.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I live in. I live 15 minutes from Norrtälje, which is a suburb to Stockholm. Yeah, but again, okay, so not too far from where I live, there is a. It's hard to describe it, but it's more or less a outdoors museum on Viking life.
Okay.
It's more or less
Museum.
yeah, it's a Viking museum, but it's a Viking village. As Vikings, more or less, all the staff go around in Viking clothes.
So
There's a lot of
it's a kind of a LARPing museum.
no.
Sounds right.
It's not really LARPing because it's educational.
Yes.
It's the people work there, but it's actually just
Educational LARPing.
A
Right.
reenactment.
No, not
I think,
really.
I think
No,
the
not
work is
really. It's only the staff who is dressed up,
Yeah.
and
Teasing.
it's not. It's only the staff who is dressed up, and it's a what's it called a
Reenactment?
no, it's a reenactment. It's not really reenactment either, but it's more or less it's a it's owned by a let me just let's see. It's owned by an association, an history association. Everybody there is technically volunteers.
Okay.
Yeah, and more or less, I've kind of grown up there because I lived quite close to it all my life, but
Mhm.
more or less, there's a lot of stuff they show. They have a lot of tunes. It's a lot of those you can actually there's a lot of different summer activities. It's
Mhm.
a summer exhibit, but so this Viking village is the summer of 2017. My brother, who was 17 at the time,
Mhm.
he's 19 now. He enlisted in the youth work program of the commune,
Okay.
which is more or less uh, Norrtälje commune, which is more or less a small. It's politics, whatever. But more or less, it's more or less that he, as a youth, could work.
Mhm.
It was a summer job.
Yes.
Yeah, he enlisted in the commune's summer job program, and he got a job at that Viking village.
Okay.
And he mostly just ran the cafeteria they had. But okay, so one day he went out to lunch. He took the bus to into town,
Mhm.
and this is where this story kind of goes. I have only actually got know I only know stuff about this from him,
Mhm.
but more or less. So he went to he went to a convenience store which was right in Centrum, and it had a cafe too.
Mhm.
It was called Kryddan, which is Despise.
Ah.
But yeah, I haven't really been there that much, but still. So more or less, so he was doing something, I don't know, and he was in his Viking getup. He had his actually slave
Ah.
outfit.
He didn't chase his clothes. Okay.
Yeah, and the slave outfit when it comes to Vikings, it was more or less linen pants and a linen tunic. It
Okay.
was covering your entire body. It wasn't a type of ancient slave. It was quite civilized,
Okay.
actually. Träl was the name.
Okay.
That's not the Swedish name for slave, but it was the name for Viking slaves. Yeah, but more or less. And he had that. He had his belt, and the kind of cool thing is that they had to fix their own clothes
Ah.
too. So more or less, he had like bright yellow patches over the authentic pants, and he had a belt,
Okay.
and he had actually an expensive, authentic Viking belt,
Okay.
and okay, so more or less, he was in line to something, and this old lady, who was apparently a regular at this cafe, she walks over to the freeze box which has the ice creams in it,
Mhm.
and she opens it up, and she grabs her hand. She takes her hand and puts it in, and I don't know if she stumbled, but one of the metal. Do you know one of the metals that you slide? That makes it slide when you come in
Yeah.
into that. She stumbles forward, slits her arm, slits yeah, more or less. Not. I don't think she slits her wrist, but she slits. Yeah, she slits her arm on that
Oof.
badly, and
Ow.
more or less. Yeah, and this was an old lady,
Mhm.
and again, and more or less, yeah. So blood started spurting out of this, and this is not really a yeah. Okay, but more or less, blood started spurting out of her wound, and my brother, as the goddamn autistic, almost 2 meter tall hero that is, he took his belt,
Mhm.
unbuckled it, and used it to
Stop the bleeding.
no, to help the bleeding. He didn't put it over the wound. He put it above the wound to stop blood to flowing
Yeah, to
from her.
stop the blood flow.
Yeah,
And more or less,
smart.
and yeah, he more or less saved that that poor old woman's life.
Wow.
And she got cartwheeled off into an ambulance after he did not get his belt back. And that's the thing. He was actually quite paranoid about that because, again, that was the most expensive part of his costume. He didn't know. Yeah, he was quite scared
Yeah.
about that. But more or less, this and the kind of thing. Yeah, this was a sweet old lady. She was a regular here. The one who worked the counter even knew what ice cream she was about to get.
Okay.
And that kind of stuff. But more or less, so this story goes, I think, a bit after, no, a bit before, no, I think after, after summer vacation, and my mom finds a Facebook post, and allegedly the daughter of this lady has posted one thing that more or less, and it read kind of like, my mother recently injured herself on that cafe,
Mhm.
and she was saved by this that she calls gentleman, or it's more or less, it was very heartfelt, and that there was and that he used a very nice belt to save her life, and now she wants to pay back for that belt.
Yes.
That more or less, yeah, the daughter of this went to Facebook, and because that lady wanted, yeah, and she was around 84, maybe.
Yeah. Doesn't
But-
know her Ray around Facebook now.
But more, no, but this will, but more. So yeah, she was hospitalized, but more or less, yeah, so she got in contact with us.
Mm-hmm.
Not really about compensation about the belt. We're Swedish. We don't care about that.
Okay.
That was again. She accidentally slit her wrist. Not really that big a deal that I lost a belt, kind of thing. But more or less, then later we got up a date to meet her actually, and around this time it was well over a few months after the accident.
Mm-hmm.
But more or less, so after this, so around the, so our grandmother, who is still alive, my maternal grandmother, my paternal grandmother is all the way over in Norway. But anyway, she started to get kind of, I think she started to get kind of sick, or there was something with her joints.
Mm-hmm.
So she was hospitalized, and then when we got in touch with this old woman to when we got in touch with this old woman, it turns out, and then when we talk with our grandmother, I think we even mom even Skype her. Guess who was in this shared this same hospital room as her?
They were in the same hospital room?
Yes, they were in the same. They shared this same hospital room.
But you still didn't
So
get the
we
belt back, I
went-
guess.
What did you say?
You still didn't get the belt back.
No. Probably through the hospital. The hospital probably threw it out. But yeah, who really cares about a stupid belt when lives are on the line?
True.
but more or less, so
Yeah, that was a good
yes.
story.
No. It's not over
It's
yet.
still not over yet. Okay.
Still, so we no. So we went to see her. Both my grandmother and this very nice lady who we later now know is Anita, and more or less. Uh, she was the most yeah, and I went too to see my grandmother, of course. Yeah, and yeah, so I met her too, and she was the nicest lady. She was adorable. Like more or less, if there's three things that are most adorable in this world, it's babies, cute gay guys, and old people who are just the most accommodating and the most. But more, yeah, it was also that meeting was kind of quite emotional for my brother because it felt good for him to know that she was okay. And then later, we actually found out that this this woman is famous. And actually, uh, my brother actually saved the life of Anita Lind, and she was she sadly passed away on August 31st of 2018. But again, she was mostly famous uh, for the Swedish children program called Anita and Televinken, which was more or less it was her and a marionette doll that talked and stuff. But more or less, yeah, and that kind of I think that went on for around 20 years. So was one of the biggest Swedish so it was one of the most important Swedish television shows, children's television shows in Swedish television history, which is and me who wouldn't mind becoming one of the people in Sweden's top ranks when it comes to television. Like that's quite endearing for me. Like again, yeah, she's dead now, but yeah, she, yeah, my brother saved the life of a woman that shaped Swedish television.
That was very nice. Yeah.
That's a good story.
Yes.
We're almost at 1 hour mark. Cloud, do you want to tell the story about that dog that attacked you?
Sure, I guess I can tell that story. So, here, for reference, I will look up a picture a Dogo Argentina looks like real quick. Big boys. I'll tell the story as a. My family got a Dogo Argentina. How he was a very hard. Never mind, I guess. Jesus. Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Not. Yeah.
Okay, so, can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah.
So my family from the rescue
Yes.
is a Dogo Argentina.
Argentina, yes.
And first, like the dog was very sweet, but he was very big and on time a actual like shelter
Mm-hmm.
We ran out of our home for about a year,
Okay.
maybe less. And so um, so for a while, um, he would just be in our living room.
Okay.
And so like the first thing that happened was we were trying to like my sister was trying to like discipline him for doing something, like putting him back in his crate.
Mm-hmm.
We had a routine of taking him out, let him go outside, play it for a while. Hey, and my sister doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I was putting back in his crate, and then we just hear our dog growling. Sister screams, right? And my sister was like, she was like 12, maybe 11 at the
Oh,
time,
yeah.
and
Oh no.
and I run downstairs
Yes.
like as fast as I can, grab the dog, bigger than me on its hind legs, and I like rustle it into the crate,
Mm-hmm.
slam it, and walk it, and like, and so that was the first sign that maybe big dog around.
Mm-hmm.
You have kids, and um, like I later on we got a uh, and my stepdad was taking in our van,
Mm-hmm.
so that way like he had his own space.
Yes.
Uh, Building for everything. We put the in like so the dog just hang out in one of the rooms. And one time, brothers were playing hide and seek, which was fun.
Yes.
But into the room where Dogo was, and I was hiding in there because like he has been really good recently,
Yes.
and like I've chilled out in that room with him before. Excited because people were like running around,
Yeah.
a good time. Jumps on me, and I push him off,
Mm-hmm.
and then he starts growling.
Oh dear.
He, then he tries to, and I scream, and my little brother Jonah, who comes running in.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm like, go get our stepdad, go get our stepdad, and he was just like, and he tried. Instead, he distracted the dog,
Mm-hmm.
and Jeremy finally came in, and I had like scratches all over me from the dog like jumping at me.
Yeah.
Uh, Luckily, didn't get because he was looping the dog, like making the dog go in a loop, so
Mm-hmm.
that way he couldn't get like bit or anything.
Yeah.
We were screaming. The police ended up getting called because of it.
Oh dear.
Like, uh, like for a long time, no one believed me and Jonah and my brother's story that like the dog was like trying to attack me.
Okay.
Nobody did.
Ah. Well, that's
And
at least yeah.
I don't
And
know
it
if that's
kind I
a big
hope
thing.
that's at least a testament how tender that dog usually was.
And like so basically, and then one day my mom got attacked by the dog
Oh dear.
in a way, and she's like, I finally understand what you guys were talking about.
Yeah.
See, like because she's like 1 minute it was fine, and then the next minute he was like attacking me, trying to hunt me down.
Yes.
Told you. And so after that, everything's settled. He got adopted
Hmm.
uh, to this thank God, this army guy and his wife, he attacked them worse than he attacked any of us. Like,
Okay.
uh, because he like broke out of his like jumped on the wife and like in the army, the guy who was in used to be in the army, like got him off of him,
Yeah.
and it's like, you need to get this dog out of here. So we did. Had some weird connection with him for like a year,
Okay.
and then we. Long story short, we ended up putting that dog down because he was just too aggressive, and
Yeah.
just anytime we tried to give him a home, and it was obvious that like we can't help this dog, unfortunately.
No.
It was a very scary experience, but that uh, what happened with.
Yeah. So the dog was very unpredictable and had to be put down because of that.
Mm.
And it sucks because I don't like putting. We never put dogs down. I think that's the only dog we've ever in the whole like 4 or 5 years
Okay, that's
of doing
actually
this.
really impressive.
We usually try to avoid it, and we've totally rehabilitated dogs before. Don't like being touched. We've like rehabilitated.
Um, we
Stuff
have
like
shelters where they are rehabilitated, but I don't have any idea in the Netherlands how many are put down. To be fair.
So we have in the town I'm in, we have way of like shelters and stuff. We have Green Hill,
Mm-hmm.
we have mine, which is SUVA dog,
Okay.
um, which is actually based on the dog we had that we all loved that passed away on
Okay.
in October, and like many years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and like we usually try not to do that. We usually try not to put dogs down and rehabilitate them. The only time dogs like are dying or already, if we tried everything we can and they're dying, or on one occasion a dog
Mm-hmm.
died, because having a bunch of dogs in one area not have good results.
No, true.
Uh, one day we'll do a podcast and I'll tell about all the dogs, and maybe you can
Oh, that would be lovely.
yeah, because he knows about it a lot more than I do.
Ah.
It would be very nice. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that story. It's actually very sad that you had to put that dog down, but sometimes if there really is no other option, maybe it's even more humane to put the dog down, because otherwise he would still be like getting back and forth between people, never getting a home.
I want to say like jump to it too. This was like 3 or 4 years of having that dog, like,
Mm-hmm.
or 2 or 3 before we had to make that decision, because like we like to exhaust every option.
Yes.
Like we do that. Sometimes my friends will like mention that dog, um, because jump. Oh, he was taller than our fence.
Oh wow.
He would just jump on top of the fence and just be like, hey.
Mm-hmm.
Cute.
When he was good, he was good. Like he'd lay on my lap. A girlfriend of mine one time, and he just like laid on her, like when we were on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
He had nice moments, but he was overall got too aggressive too easily. You couldn't play with him,
Okay.
and when you can't play with a dog, aggressive. So
True. True. Indeed.
ramble on. But
Okay. Well,
my stories.
we are over an hour. Do we want to end this lovely podcast? Because I think we had a lot of nice, funny stories, and one very sad one, but very interesting indeed.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for watching. If you want to like on YouTube, you can. My Twitter account is also like Cloudwork Twitter account. My life story is 3, but like it's titled Cloudwork and the name.
Mm-hmm.
I advertise our podcast, and I tell you when episodes are up on YouTube. It's
Yes.
also Cloudwork. Follow working on it because she is amazing and deserves it. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
I agree with that one at least.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
has, yeah, she also has a project that we're all looking forward to seeing what happens with. Um, so follow her for stuff like that, for working on her project. She does art stuff.
Yeah, a lot of art stuff to be fair. But one of the things that I want to keep on doing, even though the project will probably go into an end, I will hope that I will doing this podcast for a long, long time. So,
I love doing this podcast. It's literally what I think about all week.
Oh,
Like I've come over
oh,
I come
thank
over
you, darling.
here to do things like advertise just about it, advertising for it. We're gonna get a song here soon. My friend just needs to.
Oh, yes, yeah. You've been talking about that song since episode 1. I've been, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I doing this podcast. So thank you everyone for watching. Thank you working on it.
yes.
Thank you, Jimmy here, and thank you to my other co-hosts, and stuff for coming on here and like.
Yeah.
But all right, guys. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm just gonna kill off the podcast by shooting a Nerf gun directly into my microphone.
No, don't think that's good for your mic.
Bye, everybody.
Well, that leaves me. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you all for listening to this podcast. See you next Saturday with a new theme. Have a good day. Bye bye.